All right. It's all the way live. It's all the way live. Hey, you guys. Welcome to another edition with yours truly, the College Prep Boss. I am here to share some helpful information for parents of class of 2022 seniors. So that means if your baby is about to go to college, I'm moving forward a year. If your baby is about to start their last year in high school, this message is primarily for you. And with that message, we're going to offer a special opportunity for those families. Now, it's a limited opportunity and it is time sensitive. But before we do that, I want to answer some questions. I put it out there and ask families what are some of the questions you would like to hear answered. So I'm going to answer questions that's more related to incoming high school seniors. So that's where these questions are targeted because we're about to enter the college admission season. So I want to make sure, even if you're not our client, you at least have some helpful information to get you started. So for those who don't know me, the College Prep Boss, your favorite college for free coach, I am Tamika Williamson, Coach T, Coach T Will, all of those things. And I help families navigate the game of college admissions so that they can win and maximize age. Oh my goodness, maximize aid. So I've been talking all day. I was on a panel earlier today, and that panel was all the way live. Yeah, it was all the way live. We had a ball. I was honored to be on a panel with a person from Wharton School, from the College Board, and Emory. And it was a post-secondary panel sponsored and hosted by Usher's New Look. And we were able to give knowledge, wisdom, and insight to those young leaders about how to properly plan and prepare for their future. So I timed this to do this later today to share some of that same level of insight, but geared specifically at parents of seniors, high school seniors. So if you know somebody who is a parent of a high school senior, I need you to tag them right now and tell them to join before we really get into the heart of the message in the Q&A. If you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll try to make sure I'll try to make sure to answer those as well. But that's what we're talking about today. So if you haven't been following me, I'm a best-selling author. College admissions is an area that I'm good at. It's not to say that it's not to brag. It's just to let you know we've been able to help our families garner over $75 million in scholarships. So this is not something that just happened overnight. It's not something that just fell out of the tree. It's based on our results-driven coaching programs. So that's just to give you some receipts. Let's go ahead and get started with some questions. Now, this is a question I always get. It never fails. Regardless of how many times I answer this question, it always comes up. So the first question I'm going to cover is, when should we start preparing for college? Now, of course, I said I'm gearing this session for high school seniors, but I know there are others listening. The time to start preparing for college is way before senior year starts. All right. Now, I gotta preference this. So for those who are parents of non-seniors, you want to start that process at least at 8th grade. At least at 8th grade. You want to start that process. Now, for my parents who have the seniors and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm already behind. You are, but that's okay. You can catch up. And that's what we do for our VIP coaching clients who's in the program. We're able to help them maximize the limited time they have, so that they're not wasting time trying to figure it out. Because understand this, college admissions, college funding, it's a game, you guys. It is a game. And if you don't understand the pitfalls, the landmines, the rules of engagement, you will not win at it. Or it's going to be a difficult win that's going to take you much longer to attain. So just understand, it's not as simple as it used to be. I get my parents all the time saying, I didn't realize this process was so complicated. This process had all these different pieces to it. It's not like when I went to school and I was like, I keep trying to tell families and tell everybody that it's very different. Okay. So when should you start? At least in 8th grade. Ideally 8th grade, 9th grade, early 9th grade is really time at the latest when you want to start. All right. So another question. What are some of the things college admission representatives are looking for when we apply? College admissions representatives, scholarship representatives, they're really looking for the same thing. And it all boils down to leadership. They are looking for students who demonstrate, and listen to the words I'm using, who demonstrate strong leadership skills. What does that look like, Coach T? Well, I'm so glad you asked. So strong leadership skills means your baby, your scholar is a well-rounded student, a well-rounded leader. They represent leadership in terms of the extracurricular activities they engage in. I said engage, not sign up for. So engaging means they're actively participating, they're adding value, all those things. So leadership, they are involved in community service type of projects and initiatives. So you must be a selfless type of person. So how do you demonstrate your community service engagement? And then of course you have the academics, because I hear it all the time. Well, we have high grades and we have high test scores. They're looking beyond that. They want students who can who's adjustable, who can adjust, who can adapt in different environments. So they don't want students who's only focused on academics. If you can focus on academics and have high academics, but you also are leading in your school, you're involved in multiple organizations, you're a leader in the community, that's the type of student they are looking for. That is what we will call a money magnet type of student. So, because that's what we do in our program. When we get families who start earlier in the process, we help them build out a strategy that creates a money magnet profile that allows them to get not only admitted, but to get funded. So that's what you have to look at. Your baby has to be well-rounded, and that's what admissions are looking for. So based on that, that is what needs to be communicated in their application as well as in their essay. The essay should focus on the things that's not in the application. Hear me, okay? Do not regurgitate everything that's in the application. Bad move. The essay should give them insight into who you are, who your baby is as a person. You know, what are the things they like to do? Illustrate that in your paper. Talk about passions and all those other things that's beyond academic, because that is what's going to help sell your scholar and give them the opportunity for funding for admissions. Okay. So That's how I would respond to that question without giving away too many nuggets on the strategy side in terms of how we work with our families directly. Let's see. Letters of recommendation is something a couple people asked about. When should we ask for letters of recommendations? How many people should we ask? All that good stuff. Here's my thing. Everything that's related to college admissions, college funding is all about timing. So timing is everything. Oftentimes I hear families and students talk about the process as if they're the only one in the process and it's all about them. You are not the only person going through this process. So if you go to one of your teachers in school and ask them for a letter of recommendation 3 days prior to the time when you need it, you may not get it because you're probably not the only student who went to that teacher. Okay? So you have to start that process early. I believe it, give them at least 2 weeks, because you don't know what other competing demands they have, how many other students they're writing letters of recommendations for, but you also want to give them enough time to write you a quality level recommendation. Because hear me, there are people who will write generic letters of recommendations, and that is not what you want. As a reviewer, we know what a generic letter of recommendation looks like. And then to take it a step further, depending on who the letter of recommendation is for, like if it's for a scholarship organization or if it's for an internship or whatever the case is, there's usually a grading or assessment rubric that's being utilized. So I know when I was part of the review committee for a leadership institute for their internship program, we had a rubric, and that rubric was very specific about what type of things they wanted to see in the letter of recommendation to get the highest level of points. So you have to think with the end in mind. So throwing in a little Stephen Covey leadership principle here, you got to think with the end in mind. What is it that they're likely looking for? And you have to provide that level of content to whoever it is you're asking to create a letter of recommendation. So not only do you need to ask them early and give them enough time, I said at least 2 weeks, you also need to give them like a letter recommendation package, give them information about yourself. So like your resume, your portfolio, or something that gives them information they can reference about, they can reference as they're writing your letter recommendation. Now, the last part of that I will touch on is, exercise some wisdom. You want to ask somebody who's going to be excited about writing a letter of recommendation for you. You're not going to ask that teacher who you just don't perform in their class, you don't do what's right. They're not going to say anything good about you. So you definitely want to be careful about who you ask. Okay? All right. Okay, so let's see. The scholarship question. That question comes up all the time. Where can I find scholarships? When should we start applying for scholarships? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hear me, hear me, hear me. Hear ye, everybody. Hear the message, okay? Scholarships. Do not start this process late. I know there are many people out there who will tell you, oh, you don't have to start applying for scholarships until your junior year or until your senior year. I need you to tell them, Coach T said, that is wrong. That is too late. There are scholarships available as early as kindergarten. Yes, you heard me, kindergarten. That means you must start the process early. I liken the scholarship process to a retirement process. The earlier you start in your retirement, the more money you get to deposit and the greater the opportunity for that fund to grow. Same concept. The earlier you start the scholarship application process, and let me clarify this because I know that some students think that scholarships are only limited to their school. No, I'm talking about the traditional, old-fashioned scholarship search. Going on Google and searching for scholarships, going to scholarship databases like capex.org, Scholly, the Scholly app, FastWeb, Scholarships 360, all those different portals and stuff, and putting in the work and applying for the scholarship. It is not an easy process. You got to put in some elbow work, elbow grease, sweat equity. It takes time, it takes discipline, and it takes consistency. But going back to what I was saying, you have to start early in the process, because when you start earlier in the process, you're able to learn the lesson. Hey, I didn't get it last year, but this scholarship is available for for the next 4 years. So I can apply every year. That increases your chances of getting selected. And each time you should learn something from it, because if you go and study the winners who they selected, you can glean from the winners what you need to do differently the next time you apply. So you must start the process a lot sooner. Waiting to senior year or junior year, for that matter, is very late in the process. Is going to elevate your stress and your anxiety level, and the probability of you curating enough money to cover the high expense that's attached to a college degree is not likely. Okay? It's not likely unless you really had a strong system that you worked daily and consistently. It's just not it's not likely. So that's what I say about scholarships. Okay. How many schools should we apply to? I believe, and I'm not going to give you my magic number, because with our families, when we map out their strategy, this is a very crucial part of this process, because school selection makes a huge difference in the amount of money you get. And I'm not going to expound on that. I just want you to take that and chew on it. School selection makes a difference in the amount of money you get. But when you are applying to schools, please understand this. Do not apply assuming you're going to get in. Do not assume just because you have a high GPA and a high test score, they're going to let you in. That's just not how the system works. That's not how the game works, okay? If you've been following me, you heard me tell this story before. You don't want to be this student. This baby had a 4.3 GPA. 4.3. I wish I had a 4.3 when I was in high school. My GPA was a 3.8. 4.3. She had a 1320 on the SAT. 1320. The highest is a 1600. So hear me. 1320 out of 1600. So she's in the top 5%, okay, across the country with that score. 1320. I'm not even going to tell you what my SAT score was. It was definitely not that. But at any rate, she applied to, y'all see how many fingers I got up? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. She applied to 4 schools. 4 schools. Because she assumed that her GPA and her test scores was going to get her admitted to those 4 schools, because her top school was in that list of those 4 schools. how many of you know out of the four, rejection, rejection, rejection. 3 of the 4 schools rejected her admission. She wasn't even waitlisted. Oh, I can't be throwing up no pinky fingers because folks gonna get the wrong idea. Okay, that's an inside Greek joke because yeah, we don't throw up pinky fingers. I throw up pyramids. But anyway, I digress. I have clients who are AKs and best friends too. So anyway, but out of those 4 schools, 3 of the 4 schools rejected her. So I'm sharing this story with this question so that you don't make the same mistake. You need to have a wide range of schools that you apply to. You got to have those good old state schools, those safety net schools. It's okay to have your target and your reach schools and your dream schools. But putting all your eggs in one basket with that dream school, because see, I posted this, I don't know, probably about a few months or so now, because everybody gets caught up in the emotions of dream school. I want my baby to go to their dream school and all that stuff. Look, this is what I think about dream schools. I'm not telling you not to dream. It's all about our approach with how we manage it and how we handle it. But when it comes to dream schools, and I hear people say, I want them to go to their dream school, here's what comes to mind. Focusing on your dream school is like being in a relationship with somebody who's just not that into you. Focusing on your dream school is like being in a relationship with somebody who's just not that into you. It may be your dream school, but you don't fit the model for that school in terms of what they fund. And so you are hoping and wishing you get in, because getting in is one thing, getting it paid for is a whole nother ball of wax. So you can get in, but if you don't have the money to pay for it, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you have to think about all these things right now before you start applying to schools, because having that right mixture of schools and targeting the right schools is what's going to make a world of difference come March and April when those financial aid packages roll out and you get to find out what that bill is going to be. Because hear me, in a few weeks, parents are going to pack up and get their babies ready and take that drive to their campus, and they're going to get that bill. They should have already gotten the bill, but they're going to get that bill, because I've seen this happen more times than I care to even say. They're going to get that bill, and they're going to see that they can't pay the bill. So we're going to see GoFundMe campaigns and all these types of things pop up, because they're going to be given some type of deadline to either make a very expensive payment plan of probably about $1,500, $2,500, $3,500 a month, depending on the school, or they're going to have to pay whatever that total balance is, or they're going to kindly go knock, knock on your baby's dorm room door and ask them to pack up their stuff because they've administratively been withdrawn from their classes for non-payment, and they're going to tell your baby to call you and ask you to come pick them up, and they're going to give you a deadline to get that done. So please hear me. Colleges are businesses as well. If you don't pay, they're going to ask you to say bye-bye. See you later. Okay? So before we even start applying for schools, I want you to think about those things on the front end, because oftentimes I'll start seeing those messages and people start tagging me like January. All right, my baby got admitted to this school. Now we got to find the money to pay for it. That is putting the cart before the horse. That is backwards. That is backwards. You got to figure out the money part first, and let that drive who you apply to, not apply, get admitted, and then try to figure it out. Because the average cost of college on the low end, you're talking about $35,000 a year. I don't know. Shoot, I may can count one or two people who may be sitting on that kind of money in their investments or something. Most families don't have that type of funds laying around, or even access to those type of funds where they can extract it from some type of investment vehicle. So we have to rethink how we do college. Hint, hint, new book alert. That's what the new book is going to be dealing with. But I digress. So that is my take on colleges. You must apply to enough colleges, have a well-diverse group of colleges so that you have options, because there's no guarantee on how many get accepted to rather. So you got to make sure you give yourself some options. The other part of that process, I'll also say, is this. We have to stop being so rigid when it comes to colleges. We have this box, this narrow mindset around, these are the only type of colleges that's good enough for us to apply to, or that's good enough for us to attend. At the end of the day, is their program accredited? Is it affordable based on what your financial profile requires? And are people graduating? That's what you got to look at. Then you got to look at, okay, is it a right fit socially and emotionally for my child? But if the money isn't there, everything else just doesn't matter. So you got to look at all those things. We have to get out of this mindset around what's a good college. The young lady who facilitated our panel earlier said she went to community college for the first 2 years and then transferred, and it saved her a lot of money. That's a great strategy. I tell people about it all the time, but we have this mindset in our country that community colleges are not good enough. Man, let me tell you, we got to get away from that. We got to get away from that, because there are some solid and great community colleges that exist. Great question, Kimberly. Should your child apply junior or senior year? Typically, kids, your scholars will apply during their senior year. But let me just put that but there. If your baby is advanced, and I'm going to define advanced for you, that means, you know what? I'll give you an example. One of my scholars, go ahead on Alonzo. I'm like super proud of him. His mom texted me the scores last night, and another parent sent me her baby scores today. And so I was like, okay, I got to put them on blast too. But he is about to be a junior, and he got, I think, 2 5s and a 4 on his AP exams. And I'm like, boom, that's what I'm talking about. So if you have a high performing junior with a portfolio like that, and they've already completed, because see, for us, testing is done by junior year. We through with ACT and SAT by the end of junior year. So, and they have a high test score, they can apply as juniors. Absolutely. There's nothing to say that they can't. We used to have students all the time attend our college fair, college expo, and they would be underclassmen up there outshining graduating seniors, because they walk in with, bam, hey, I got a 28 on my ACT. Here's my GPA. And they walk away with offers. Because basically what schools do, when they give you an offer, it's a contingency clause always attached to it. It's always contingent upon, of course, you graduate. And then there may be some other things that's part of that. So yes, you can apply in their junior year if they have all the requirements. Absolutely. So great question. Great question. Um, so financial aid is the last question I'll address unless I see questions pop up in the chat. So financial aid, when should we start applying for financial aid? So the financial aid cycle runs October 1st of your child's senior year, and it goes depending on state. Everybody has different deadlines, but October 1st is when the FAFSA opens up. So October 1st is the first day parents of graduating seniors can start applying for financial aid. So let me just add a couple of nuggets to that, because I just want to make sure you all are going to be ready and you're prepared. First and foremost, everybody. Y'all remember that song? Okay, I may be dating myself, but everybody need to apply for financial aid. I don't care how much money you make. Everybody applies for financial aid, because what you got to understand is, if we look at it in just basic layman terms, there's two buckets of funds: need-based and merit-based. Need-based and merit-based. So need-based is based on income. Merit-based is based on a host of other things. So need-based has, of course, the most restrictions because it's based on income. But that doesn't mean your child wouldn't qualify for merit-based type of funding. But if you don't complete the FAFSA, your baby gonna get nothing. So I can't make it no plainer than that. They get nothing. So you must apply. So everybody must apply for the financial for FAFSA. If you don't plan to apply for FAFSA, you need to be prepared to write a check. Bottom line. So going back to timeline, October 1st. So you want to make sure you're ready to prepare. You're prepared and you're ready to apply when the FAFSA application opens. It opens October 1st. Remember, I mentioned earlier, everything about the college admissions process is about timing. Okay, it is about timing. So you want to make sure you get your stuff in early. The early bird gets the worm. So that means I'm not even going to go into any further detail. It opens at October 1st. You need to be aiming for October 1st. If you want to increase your chance of funding and all that stuff, October 1st. Okay. All right. Let me give this other nugget for you. Because of COVID, this is something I want to make sure families understand when it comes to financial aid. So when you apply for financial aid this fall for your baby, is going to be based on your taxes 2 years in the rear of the year they start college. So they're going to start college in 2022, fall of 2022. So the tax year that's going to be used to determine what your child qualifies for is the 2020 tax year. Okay. The 2020 tax year. And those who don't have seniors, if you're listening to this, a light bulb should go off in your head that says, oh, that's another indicator as to why I need to start this process sooner. So your baby starts school in 2022, but they're going to be using your tax year from 2020. That tax year is already come and gone, correct? All right, so that's what they're going to be basing it off of. So make sure you understand that. If you encountered any type of life-changing situation that impacted your family structure and your income negatively, since what's listed as your adjusted gross income in 2020 know that you will need to appeal your child's financial aid package once you get to that stage. So I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to give it to you in a different way to make sure it's clear. So let's say in 2020, your total household income was $85,000. But since then, because of COVID and a host of other things, you may be taking care of a parent or something may be happening or whatever. Your income is now, when your income for 2020, you pay taxes on $85,000. Your income now is $40,000. That's a negative impact. So you're going to complete the FAFSA based on your 2020 taxes. But what you're going to have to do on the back end, now, see, I'm giving y'all this nugget for free because I care, okay? Because I care. And I hope y'all are taking it to heart and you're writing notes and you're going to put it into action. You're going to go through the appeal process. That process is different for every school. It's different for every school. So you're going to have to find out what each school's process is. But know that you're going to have to appeal it. You can appeal it. Okay? Many families, people don't know that they can do that. And the same thing goes for families of students who are already in college. You need to make those adjustments and find out what the appeal process, because that can change what your baby's financial aid package looks like. So anytime there's a life-changing situation, you want to appeal the financial aid process. Go through the appeal process at that moment. Don't wait till the next cycle, okay? Because waiting till the next cycle can cause you to just miss out. Thanks, Tam. That's Masara. Now she's a financial aid guru. It's called Special Circumstance Petition. Now, again, you just have to. What I will say is reach out to the school, because I know some schools, when COVID happened, I saw some schools remove it from their website because they were getting flooded with it. But just know that opportunity is there. All right. So I think that's all the questions. Yeah. I don't see any other questions coming through chat. So I'm going to bring this to a close by talking about the special opportunity we have for parents of current or about to be graduating seniors. Every year we get requests when it's too late, when we can't help families or it's off cycle. And so we actually made some adjustments this year so we can look at how to help families. And we actually had our cutoff for seniors a month or one or 2 months ago. Time is just moving, so I can't remember. But we decided to open it up, but only for a few days. It's only open for the remainder of this week through Sunday. So through Sunday, we are opening up the VIP coaching program that allows families to be able to get personalized strategy, personalized assistance in navigating this college admissions process. Okay. Now it's only open. We're only opening it up with 5 slots. Because when you just think about working with seniors, it's just a lot. It is a lot to deal with. So I usually don't do this, but I'm going to just share this screen and see if I can, Oh, there we go. See, I've never done this before, so I'm just playing with it. All right, so these are just some of the other programs, but the one I'm really talking about is our VIP coaching program. So if you are a parent of a graduating senior and you feel that you will benefit from getting a personalized strategy that maximizes your aid with coaching, this is a 12-month coaching program. You get access to our college planning portal, our college planning tool that helps you to manage and see everything in one place. You'll get access to over 1,200 scholarships, career assessment, scholarship search. If you need it, ACT, SAT prep, a host of other things, templates, our private group. If this is something you think is going to help your family navigate this process, we are taking 5 additional seniors, but you must act fast because this again expires on Sunday at midnight. And so you will go to thecollegeprepboss.com and you will schedule a call to get time set up to sign up for the program, because we're kicking off next week. Next week on the 28th is when we're having our admissions kickoff session with our clients to make sure they are ready come August 1st to take action. So understand this. This is not a free program. I just need to be very clear about that. It's not a free program and it's not for everybody. That's okay. That's why we screen our families, because we can't work with everybody. It's not a free program. It's going to require several $1,000s investment. I'm just going to put that out there. This is not a $9.99, $7.99 program, but it's going to require several $1,000s. We do have a payment plan available for our customers as well. So we do have options. Again, there's only 5 slots, and this is a rare offering because once we close out with seniors, we don't open it back up because it's just too much work. It takes too much time, and we're very intentional and strategic about when we have them start the process, which is why we have a cutoff time for seniors. So if this is something you believe is going to be beneficial, go to the website. You see it scrolling below, or if you're watching over here on Instagram, thecollegeprepboss.com. And hey, if you just can't remember that, just message us and we'll get you connected. So that is pretty much it. Because what I don't want to happen, which it always happens, we start getting those requests in March, April, February. Hey, can you help us? We don't know what to do. We don't know when to start. It's too late at that point. We can't help you at that point. So take advantage of this rare opportunity to get help now. And we would love to work with you. All right. So our highest earner this year got over $2 million in scholarships. That could be your scholar, but it takes work. It takes consistency, and it takes dedication to the process. This is getting your child a debt-free education, you guys, is not an easy process. It's not. And I need everybody to understand, just because your baby's an honor roll student doesn't mean they're going to get money and opportunity. You know how many honor roll students running around here with student loan debt? Come on. You got to know how to work the game. So I thank y'all for joining me today. It's been a great day. But Professor got to go do some work. I need to do some stuff with my college students. Because I haven't been in my class today. So that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to put on my professor hat and do some work over there before turning it in for the evening. Because this week has been busy. And I just realized that tomorrow is Friday. Like, oh my gosh, tomorrow's Friday. Next week is the last week of July. And then we're going to hit August. Y'all, time is moving. So you got to be ready. Remember, the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. We must position ourselves always to stay ready. Because the opportunities only come to prepared people ready to take action. And that's what we're cultivating. And that's what we're trying to build in our scholars. Because the same thing you do to get ready for college, you got to exhibit some of those same behaviors when it comes to transitioning into a corporate environment. So stay safe out there. Numbers are rising. Please exercise wisdom, exercise patience, exercise tolerance, exercise respect. You guys, exercise respect. Stay safe. Thank you so much, Sarah Tam. Thanks for joining. So guys, stay safe, have fun, maximize this time because tomorrow's not promised. Okay, let me get off myself. A lot has happened this week. So this is your favorite College for Free coach, the College Prep Boss herself, Coach T, signing out until the next edition. See you guys.